You know that rush you get when you decide to change your life? You sign up for the gym. You buy a new notebook for journaling. You promise yourself, this time, I'm really doing it. For a few days, it feels incredible. You're energized, organized, unstoppable. Every small action feels like a step toward your new self. But then, one morning, you wake up tired. You skip the gym just this once. You forget to write. You tell yourself you'll start again tomorrow. And somehow, tomorrow becomes next week. That initial spark fades, and you're back where you started. Sound familiar? You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're just human. See, our brains are wired for novelty. When we start something new, a project, a habit, a dream, our brains flood us with dopamine. That's why the first week always feels like a movie montage. Everything seems possible. You feel reborn. But dopamine doesn't care about discipline. It cares about discovery. When the newness wears off, the brain quiets down, the excitement fades, and suddenly, what used to feel easy starts to feel heavy. This is where most people stop. They mistake the end of excitement for the end of purpose. They think, maybe this wasn't for me. Maybe I'm not disciplined enough. Maybe I'm just not that kind of person. But here's the truth. The problem isn't your willpower. It's your system. We live in a culture obsessed with hype. We glorify the start, the before and after photos, the first week, the big announcement. But no one talks about the middle, the long, quiet stretch where results are invisible, motivation is low, and no one is cheering for you. That's where most dreams quietly die. Not because they were impossible, but because they became ordinary. You've been told that passion keeps people going. But the people who last don't rely on passion, they rely on design. They design habits so small, they don't require motivation. They design environments that make success the default, not the struggle. They make it easier to do the right thing than not to. When you leave your running shoes by the bed, you run. When your journal is already open, you write. When your workspace is clean, you create. Discipline doesn't live in your mind. It lives in your environment. Every time you quit on yourself, a small voice inside says, "See? I knew you wouldn't stick with it." That voice gets louder each time until you stop trusting your own promises. And once you lose that trust, it's not the goal that breaks. It's your identity. You stop seeing yourself as capable. You stop believing you can change. But here's the good news. Trust can be rebuilt. One small action at a time. You don't have to run a marathon. Just put your shoes on. You don't have to meditate for an hour. Just breathe for 1 minute. You don't have to fix your whole life. Just keep one tiny promise today. That's how you start healing the relationship with yourself. Not by doing more, but by doing consistently. Not by shouting, "I'll change," but by whispering, "I showed up." Each small action becomes a vote for a new identity, the version of you who follows through. And that's the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. So don't set bigger goals. Don't plan a perfect comeback. Just pick one small action, one that feels almost too easy, and do it today. Because the people who go the distance aren't the ones who start the strongest. They're the ones who start again. Every single time. Before you scroll away, pause. Think of one thing you started and abandoned. A dream, a project, a promise to yourself. Now, choose the smallest possible step you can take today to move toward it again. Write one sentence, do one push-up, read one page. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. Because the truth is simple. Anyone can start. But only the brave begin again. And if you're listening right now, you already have what it takes to begin.